Welcome to Elder Zen. Hit subscribe for simple health tips made just for seniors. Stay tuned. Your next great day starts here. Have you ever stopped to think about how something as simple as what's on your plate could shape your future health? Picture this. You're enjoying your favorite meal, maybe a comforting bowl of soup, a slice of pizza, or even those crunchy snacks during your afternoon TV time. For many of us, salt is a familiar part of these moments. A sprinkle here, a dash there, a hidden ingredient in almost everything we buy at the store. But what if I told you that, especially as we age, the amount of salt we eat can quietly raise the risk of a life-threatening condition called pulmonary embolism? Let's be honest, salt is everywhere. It's in bread, canned foods, sauces, takeout, and yes, even sweet treats. It adds flavor, preserves food, and keeps our taste buds happy. Yet, for seniors and really for all of us, the question isn't just about taste. It's about health, independence, and the ability to keep doing what we love as the years go by. Imagine waking up every morning feeling just a little more tired, or maybe noticing swelling in your ankles or shortness of breath after your usual walk. It's easy to shrug these off as just getting older. But sometimes, these are your body's gentle warnings that your lungs and heart are under extra strain. Pulmonary embolism, a condition where an artery in your lung becomes blocked, can often arrive without warning, changing lives in a matter of minutes. The surprising truth: eating too much salt could make that risk even higher. Now, you might be asking yourself, how does salt on my food have anything to do with my lungs? It's a great question, and the answer is rooted in how salt affects every part of your body, especially as you get older. Salt doesn't just stay in your mouth. It travels through your blood, influencing blood pressure, fluid balance, and the way your heart and blood vessels work together. High salt intake can put pressure on your entire cardiovascular system, forcing your heart and lungs to work overtime just to keep things moving. For seniors, the stakes are even higher. With each passing year, our bodies naturally become more sensitive to the effects of salt. Kidneys might not clear out extra sodium as quickly. Blood vessels may stiffen, and the risk of high blood pressure increases. These changes, added up over time, create the perfect environment for silent threats like pulmonary embolism to sneak in. It's not about never enjoying your favorite foods again. It's about understanding how small changes, like reducing salt, can make a dramatic difference in keeping you strong and resilient so you can keep living the life you love. So, why are we talking about this today? Because knowledge is power. If you or someone you care for is over 60, the steps you take now, starting with something as simple as choosing lower sodium options or using more herbs and spices, can help protect your lungs, your heart, and your independence. In this video, we'll explore how salt affects your risk of pulmonary embolism, why seniors are especially vulnerable, and most importantly, the easy, practical steps you can start using right away to take control of your health. We'll look at the science, listen to real stories, and walk through a typical day spotting hidden salt traps and celebrating delicious, healthy swaps you can actually enjoy. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. Millions of people around the world are making the shift to eating less salt, and the benefits are real: more energy, less swelling, easier breathing, and the confidence that comes with taking care of your body, one meal at a time. Are you ready to rethink the way you use salt? Protect your lungs and enjoy every bite with peace of mind. Grab your favorite mug, settle in, and let's dive into the practical, empowering world of heart and lung smart eating together. Let's shift gears and look deeper into the science, because understanding what's really happening inside your body gives you the power to make positive change. It's easy to take salt for granted. After all, we grew up being told it's just a part of everyday meals. But when we look beneath the surface, the story becomes much more interesting and important to start. Let's consider what happens the moment you eat something salty. Maybe it's a bowl of soup on a rainy afternoon, or that quick, tasty snack you reach for while watching TV. As soon as salt enters your body, it's absorbed into your bloodstream. In small amounts, your body handles it well. But as the years go by and more salt creeps into your meals, sometimes without you even realizing it, the effects start to build up. You see, salt is like a magnet for water. The more salt in your bloodstream, the more water your body holds onto. This extra fluid increases your blood volume, which, in turn, raises your blood pressure. At first, you might not feel anything. But over weeks, months, and years, your heart and blood vessels start working overtime, pushing against that added pressure every single day. For younger people, their bodies often recover from an occasional salty meal. But for seniors, these changes become more significant. Kidneys may become less efficient, and blood vessels might not be as flexible as they once were. The result? It becomes much easier for your body to get overloaded with salt, and much harder to get rid of it. This is why doctors often warn older adults to watch their sodium intake. It's not just about blood pressure, but about the entire system working together, and the risks that come with things like pulmonary embolism. Now, you might be wondering, how does this tie into my lungs? Here's the connection. As high blood pressure continues unchecked, tiny blood vessels in your lungs are put under strain. Over time, that strain makes it easier for dangerous blockages, pulmonary embolisms, to develop. In other words, what seems like a small thing on your dinner plate can, over time, set off a chain reaction throughout your body. But the impact of salt isn't limited to just blood pressure. There's another piece to this puzzle. Eating too much salt can also lead to swelling in your legs and feet, a common complaint among seniors. This swelling can be a sign that your body is holding on to extra fluid. If you've ever noticed your socks leaving marks on your ankles, or felt your shoes get tighter as the day goes on, salt could be playing a bigger role than you think. This fluid buildup can increase the risk that your circulation slows down, which is another factor that can make it easier for a pulmonary embolism to occur. Let's take a quick pause and make this real. Imagine you're chatting with a friend, let's call her Barbara, age 73, who tells you she's been feeling a bit more puffy and tired lately. She says, it's probably just my age. But after talking more, she realizes most of her favorite comfort foods are loaded with salt. After a friendly nudge from her daughter, Barbara switches to low-sodium soup, adds more fresh veggies to her meals, and starts to notice a difference. In just a few weeks, her ankles look less swollen, her energy returns, and she feels more in control of her health. What can we learn from Barbara's story? The great news is that these changes don't require a complete diet overhaul overnight. Small steps like rinsing canned vegetables, reading nutrition labels, or flavoring meals with herbs and citrus can make a world of difference, especially for seniors who want to enjoy both delicious food and a healthy, independent life. So as we wrap up this segment, keep in mind, salt isn't the enemy, but in large amounts, it can quietly work against you, especially as you age. By becoming more mindful of where salt hides and making simple swaps, you're not just protecting your heart and lungs, you're taking an active role in shaping your future. One meal at a time. Next, we'll explore practical ways to reduce salt in your daily life and highlight some delicious, senior-friendly meals that bring big flavor without the hidden health risks. Stick with me. These small steps could help you feel better, breathe easier, and enjoy every moment with the people you love. Let's continue this journey together. Because now that you understand why salt matters so much, it's time to explore how you can make practical, lasting changes without feeling deprived or overwhelmed. The great news is that cutting down on salt isn't about saying goodbye to your favorite foods forever or eating bland meals you don't enjoy. It's about making small, thoughtful shifts that add up over time and can have a powerful impact on your health and quality of life, especially when it comes to protecting yourself from pulmonary embolism. So, where do you begin? The first step: is awareness. So many of us grew up in a world where adding salt was second nature, maybe a sprinkle at the table, a dash while cooking, or choosing ready-made meals because they're quick and easy. The challenge is, so much of the salt we consume is already hiding in our food before we even reach for the salt shaker. In fact, studies show that over 70% of the salt in the average diet comes from processed and packaged foods. Not what we add ourselves. Picture this. You wake up, pour yourself a bowl of cereal, maybe have some toast with cheese, and later, you reach for a can of soup or a frozen meal for lunch. Even without ever touching the salt shaker, you could easily be well over your daily recommended limit. It's eye-opening, isn't it? But here's the hope. Once you spot where salt is sneaking in, you're already halfway to success. Start by looking at labels. The next time you shop, take a few extra seconds to compare products. You'll be amazed how two similar-looking items can have very different sodium levels. Choose the lower sodium version when you can. It's a simple swap that adds up. Love soup? Look for low sodium or no salt added varieties, or try making your own at home. Homemade meals give you total control over what goes in your pot, and you can season them with herbs, garlic, onion, or lemon for a burst of flavor without extra salt. But what if you crave that salty taste? You're not alone, and change doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can train your taste buds over time. Try cutting back slowly, mixing regular and low-sodium products together, or adding an extra dash of your favorite spice instead of salt. It's amazing how quickly your body will adapt. What tasted bland at first can start to taste just right in a matter of weeks. Let's share a quick story. Meet Frank, age 76. Frank always believed food should be flavorful, but after his doctor warned him about his blood pressure and pulmonary embolism risk, he started looking for creative ways to season his meals. Frank began using fresh basil, pepper, and even a splash of vinegar in his stews and salads. Before long, he found that he didn't miss the salt at all. And he was even able to share new recipes with friends at his senior center. Frank's journey proves that eating well can be delicious and social, and that you don't have to go it alone. Another key tip: get your family involved. Whether you live with others or have loved ones who visit, talk openly about why you're making changes. Encourage your children or grandchildren to read labels with you. Try new recipes, or even make it a friendly game to find the best low-salt snacks. The support you get from those around you can make your changes stick, and you might even inspire others to join you on the path to better health. And let's not forget, hydration matters too. The more water you drink, the easier it is for your body to flush out excess salt, keeping everything running smoothly and lowering your risk for complications like pulmonary embolism. Try keeping a glass of water within reach at all times. Sometimes, what feels like a salty craving is really just thirst in disguise. So as you move forward, remember, reducing salt doesn't mean sacrificing enjoyment. With a bit of curiosity and creativity, you can discover new flavors, protect your lungs and your independence, and keep every meal a moment of joy. You've come this far, why not take the next step toward a healthier, happier you? As we dive even deeper into this journey, it's time to talk about the power of habit, because what we do every day, almost without thinking, shapes not only our health, but the very quality of our lives. And when it comes to salt, the good news is that healthy habits can be learned at any age, even if you've enjoyed a salty snack or two for decades. Let's take a moment to imagine your daily routine. Maybe it starts with breakfast, something familiar and comforting, perhaps a bowl of soup, some bread, a savory egg. These are the moments when salt tends to sneak in, and it can feel almost impossible to imagine your favorite foods without that extra pinch. But here's something encouraging. You're not alone in this. Millions of seniors have made the change. And you can too, with a few clever tricks and a gentle, step-by-step approach. One of the easiest habits to start is what I call flavor discovery. Instead of reaching for the salt, reach for your spice rack or your herb garden. Have you ever tried adding fresh dill to your potatoes or tossing a handful of basil on your tomatoes? What about squeezing a little lemon over your fish or roasted vegetables? These small shifts can transform a simple meal into something bright, lively, and deeply satisfying. And as you experiment, you'll find that each meal becomes an opportunity for creativity, not a loss. Now, you might be thinking, but I'm set in my ways. Can I really change now? Absolutely. Let's look at a real-life example. Meet Barbara, age 82, who always loved her traditional chicken soup. For years, she added a hefty pinch of salt, believing it was the only way to bring out the flavor. But after her grandson challenged her to a no-salt recipe contest, Barbara started experimenting with garlic, ginger, parsley, and even a dash of smoked paprika. The result? Not only did her family rave about the new flavors, but Barbara herself felt more energetic and noticed her ankles weren't as swollen as before. And here's another simple tip. Start slow. No one expects you to cut out salt overnight. Try reducing by just a little each week. Maybe you'll use half the usual amount in your next recipe, or switch to unsalted nuts instead of salted ones. Over time, your taste buds will adjust, and soon enough, you may even find salty foods too strong to support is also key. If you eat with others, family, friends, a social club, bring them along on your journey. Share what you're learning. Cook together and celebrate small victories, like discovering a new favorite spice blend or finding a delicious, lower salt snack at the market. Not only does this make healthy eating feel less like a chore, but it keeps you connected, engaged, and inspired. Sometimes eating out can be tricky, but don't let that stop you from enjoying a good meal at a restaurant or at a family gathering. When you order, ask for sauces and dressings on the side. Choose grilled, steamed, or roasted dishes over fried or heavily sauced items. And remember, it's okay to leave food on your plate if it tastes too salty or if you're simply full. Finally, don't underestimate the power of patience and kindness to yourself. Habits take time to build. If you slip up or have a salty meal now and then, it's not a failure. It's part of the process. Every step you take, every meal you tweak, is an act of self-care, one that can protect your lungs, your heart, and your future. So, as we wrap up this segment, remind yourself, building new habits is a journey worth taking by exploring new flavors, embracing change one meal at a time, and inviting others to share the experience. You're not just reducing salt, you're rediscovering the joy of eating, living, and thriving at every age. Let's take a breath and look at the bigger picture, because sometimes, after learning all these facts and suggestions, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Maybe you're thinking, can I really keep this up every day? Will it ever get easier? The answer, with confidence, is yes. In this segment, let's shift our focus from what you can't have to celebrating what you can and how small. Positive steps add up to big results, especially when protecting yourself from pulmonary embolism. First, remember that life isn't about deprivation, it's about adaptation and joy. In fact, many seniors who have successfully lowered their salt intake say that the process helped them rediscover their senses. Suddenly, the sweetness of a ripe tomato or the savory depth of roasted garlic comes alive. When you give your taste buds time to adjust, food becomes more than just a routine, it becomes an experience. Let's introduce another friendly face. George, age 76. After his doctor warned him about his pulmonary embolism risk and suggested reducing salt, George was skeptical. "I thought food would be bland forever," he laughs. But as he began to try new recipes like stews flavored with thyme and lemon, or salads tossed with apple cider vinegar and fresh herbs, he realized he'd been missing out on a world of tastes. In just a few months, George's blood pressure improved. His ankles were less swollen, and he even started cooking for his friends, turning his new habits into a source of pride. So how can you make this shift sustainable in your own life? Start by planning for success. Keep your kitchen stocked with flavor-boosting staples, fresh lemons, garlic, onions, vinegars, and your favorite herbs and spices. Put a list of your go-to low-salt meals on the fridge for inspiration, and keep healthy snacks like unsalted popcorn, fruit, and veggies within easy reach. Another tip is to set gentle reminders. Maybe you leave a little note by the salt shaker, or set a weekly goal to try one new low-salt recipe. You might even keep a journal, jotting down how you feel after meals, tracking wins like more energy or easier breathing. These little acts of mindfulness help you see progress even when it feels slow, and don't forget the power of community. If you're part of a senior center, church group, or just have a few good friends nearby, consider starting a healthy flavor club. Swap recipes, share spice samples, or have friendly competitions to see who can make the most delicious low-salt soup or salad. Not only does this create accountability, but it makes the journey social and fun. Also, celebrate your milestones. Maybe you went a whole week using herbs instead of salt, or you found a new favorite dish. Reward yourself, perhaps with a walk in the park, a call to a loved one, or simply the satisfaction of knowing you're making choices that protect your lungs and your life. Every positive step deserves acknowledgement, no matter how small. If setbacks happen, and they will be gentle with yourself. Change is rarely perfect. Maybe you ate out and the food was saltier than expected, or you just craved an old favorite for comfort. That's okay. The goal isn't perfection, but progress. Each meal is a new opportunity, and every choice counts. Finally, remind yourself of your why. Perhaps it's to have more energy for your grandchildren, to travel with friends, or simply to enjoy breathing deeply and moving easily each day. Keeping your motivation close at heart transforms low-salt living from a burden into a blessing. As we close this segment, remember that protecting yourself from pulmonary embolism and living well after 60 isn't about one giant leap, but the many small, loving steps you take for yourself each day. With a sprinkle of curiosity, a dash of creativity, and a whole lot of kindness. You're not just lowering your risk, you're building a life filled with flavor, connection, and lasting health. As we come to this final stretch, let's talk about something that truly matters. How to take everything you've learned about salt, pulmonary embolism, and healthy living and make it stick. Not just for a week or a month, but for years too. Come, because honestly, what good is knowledge if it just sits on a shelf? The real magic happens when you turn those lessons into daily habits, woven gently into your routines and celebrated as small daily victories. First, let's pause and reflect. Every person's journey is different, and there's no one size fits all solution. Some days will be easier, and others will feel like a bit of a challenge. But the important thing is consistency, not perfection. Remember, the road to better lung health and lower pulmonary embolism risk isn't a sprint. It's more like a gentle, winding walk through your favorite neighborhood, with plenty of time to enjoy the view along the way. So, how do you stay motivated? One powerful way is to create personal reminders of your why. Maybe it's a family photo on your kitchen table, a note tucked into your wallet, or even a message you write to your future self. Let your motivation be front and center. Are you doing this for more energy to play with your grandkids? For peaceful morning walks? Or to simply breathe easier and feel stronger each day? Let your reasons guide you through moments of temptation or doubt. Let's also bring friends and loved ones into the journey. Health is easier and much more joyful when shared. Talk about what you're learning with your spouse, your children, or a neighbor. Swap recipe ideas, take walks together, or check in once a week to share successes and struggles. Sometimes, a simple "How are you doing with your salt goals this week?" is all it takes to keep you on track and feeling supported. Now, Let's address those days when things don't go as planned. Maybe you forgot to check the sodium label at the grocery store, or you enjoyed a salty meal at a family celebration. That's okay. The path to lifelong health isn't straight, it curves and bends, and sometimes it even loops back on itself. The key is to keep going. Each new day is a fresh start. Learn from any missteps, forgive yourself, and look forward with kindness. It can also help to mark your progress. Maybe you track how you feel in a journal. Do you notice less swelling in your ankles, steadier energy, or better sleep? Perhaps your doctor sees improvements in your blood pressure or heart health at your next visit. Celebrate these wins. No matter how small. Over time, these small victories add up to huge rewards for your lungs, your heart, and your peace of mind. And don't underestimate the power of gratitude. Taking a moment each day to be thankful for your body, for the food you enjoy, for the support around you can transform the journey from one of have to into one of get to. You get to care for yourself, to try new things, and to shape your own story. That's something worth celebrating every single day. Finally, remember this: every meal, every choice, every step you take toward a healthier lifestyle is a gift. Not just for you, but for everyone who loves and relies on you. By prioritizing your well-being, you set an inspiring example. Not only for peers, but also for children and grandchildren, neighbors and friends. You show them that it's never too late to choose health, and that taking care of yourself is the first step in taking care of those you love. So, as we close segment 6, let this be your gentle reminder. Lasting change is made up of small, loving choices repeated over time. Let go of guilt, embrace curiosity, and remember that you're not alone. Whether today is your first step or your 100th, each moment matters. And your journey, your story, is already inspiring others. So, as we come to the close of this journey together, I want you to take a deep breath right now with me. Breathe in and realize that you've just taken in not only air, but a wealth of knowledge, and perhaps a little extra hope. Because what we've shared today isn't just information, it's the beginning of a new chapter in your story. A chapter where you are in control, where your choices matter, and where every small step can lead to brighter days ahead. Now, let's reflect for a moment on how far you've come, even just by watching this video. Maybe at the start you were unsure or a little anxious. Maybe the topic of pulmonary embolism or the thought of changing habits seemed overwhelming. But look at you now. You've listened, you've learned, and you've considered real, practical ways to take better care of your health. That is no small thing. That is courage. That is resilience. Remember, change isn't about giant leaps or overnight miracles. It's about showing up for yourself in all the little ways that add up over time. It's about swapping out just one salty snack for a fresher, healthier option. It's about pausing, savoring, and truly enjoying your meals. It's about reaching out to a friend for a walk or sharing what you've learned with someone you love. These are not just actions, they are acts of self-care, of self-love, and of deep respect for your own story. And here's the secret: you are never alone in this. Right now, all over the world, there are people just like you, maybe sitting in their kitchens, maybe listening on their walks, deciding to make a change, deciding to live just a little better, to breathe a little easier, to keep moving forward, no matter what age they are. You are part of a quiet revolution, a movement of people who believe that aging can be vibrant, strong, and full of possibilities. If you ever feel discouraged, remember the stories we've shared, stories of real people, perhaps with names just like yours, who faced uncertainty, made a choice, and found strength they didn't know they had. Let those stories remind you that every day is a new chance to write your own. Let's also celebrate the community we've built here together. The comments and stories you share below are a treasure trove for others. Maybe the very advice or encouragement someone else needs to take their next step. So, please, tell us. What's one thing you'll do differently after today? What's one small victory you want to celebrate, or one question you'd like answered? Your voice is valued here. If this video resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend, a neighbor, a family member, someone who could use a gentle nudge or a little more knowledge. You never know whose life you might change, simply by passing along what you've learned. And if you'd like to keep this journey going, hit that subscribe button for more stories, tips, and inspiration tailored just for you and your stage of life. This is more than just a channel. It's a circle of support, a source of strength, and a place where every question is welcomed. As you step away today, remember, you have so much to look forward to. More sunny days, more laughter, more peace in knowing that you are taking care of yourself in the best way possible. Aging is not a sentence, it's an opportunity. The choices you make now, no matter how small, are investments in your future joy, freedom, and vitality. So here's to you, to your journey, your health, your courage. Here's to savoring every meal, every walk, every moment of connection with the ones you love. Here's to knowing that every chapter, at every age, can be rich with meaning, growth, and new beginnings. Thank you for being here, for listening, for caring about yourself and your future. Until next time, take gentle care, and remember, you are never alone.